So Sarah,
Yeah, hi.
we finally get to hook up. We use Blackmagic stuff all the time.
Excellent, excellent.
And so I figure, and I think a lot of our viewers do, whether they're creators, whether they're editing their stuff or streaming or whatever. So
Yeah.
it makes sense for us to visit you.
No, totally. Yeah. Everybody should come by and visit us at NAMM. Yeah.
So what's happening?
So here at NAMM 2025, we are showing a few of our products. We make over 100, but we have some of our live production workflow items. This is our ATEM minis. We have a few cameras to show with that workflow, like our Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro, as well as further behind me is one of the Studio Cameras 6K Pros. We've got some HyperDeck minis to play back content, as well as the camera feeds. Yeah, so that's what we've got going on the live production side. We've also got the Davinci Resolve for your post needs, whether that's from the audio perspective. We got a full DAW in there with the Fairlight tab, and edit, color correction, visual effects, an entire post-production package in Davinci
It's
Resolve.
really interesting.
Yeah.
I think the more we use Resolve ourselves, the more we realize, hey, I mean, I use it as for audio, just audio, but I also use it for graphics, for comping, making poster frames and stuff. It's actually really good for that stuff too.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it pretty much covers any post-production need that you have. Davinci Resolve has something within it that's going to cover you, from the audio to the video, everything.
So ATEMs.
Yes.
We've got, I mean, this range has been, I guess the last refreshment of the range was the SDI versions.
Yes,
wasn't it?
correct, yeah.
So the question, obviously, you're probably getting asked this about 1 million times a day, is there any chance of 4K? You know, because 4K is
that I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we've started to upgrade some of our other products into the 4K realm. So we did the HD8 television studio with a 4K 8 version, and then when we released the Constellation lineup, it originally was HD and then became 4K. So it's not outside the realm of possibility, but just don't know kind of what's coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, we were figuring that if you're doing ISO 4Ks, where'd you get an SSD fast enough to write
exactly.
8 streams
yeah.
of 4K?
And how do you keep the hardware from basically cooking itself as it's trying to process all of that high resolution data? But yeah, that's a problem for us to figure out if we go down that pathway.
So what's the kind of, what are you seeing that creator workflow sort of typically from those people? Are they coming in ATEM and then using the switch and going straight into Resolve with the project, or you know?
So it's kind of like a couple different ways that they might do it. Like some people may not be either skilled enough or have the time to do that post-production workflow with Resolve, and so they may just get the ATEM Mini Pro or the ATEM Extreme that doesn't have the ISO option.
Yeah.
And so they're literally just either live streaming or uploading that line cut directly, you know, to their social media. But for those people who need to finesse it and have the time, that's where they're getting into the ISO models of those. And yeah, so basically they're doing their live setup. They're doing maybe the stream live, and then maybe they need to tweak it after the fact, or they want to upload like a VOD after the fact, and they'll go back into Davinci Resolve and tweak that a little bit, maybe add lower thirds or remove things, and yeah, get that finalized VOD up there.
I guess another thing that might be pertinent to people is obviously the ATEM has got the Fairlight engine in there as well.
Yeah.
But we still haven't quite got the Pro connectors audio-wise. I wonder if that might be an area that would be... or have you got any other products that will take that kind of...
Yeah, so the minis, yeah, you're right. They're basically going to just be that 3.5 mil headphone style jack with the tip ring sleeve. Yeah, like with our ATEM television studio line, those have XLR connectors, and like our Constellations, those will have XLR connectors for that higher end sort of audio connection. But yeah, I mean, we always love to hear what users are doing, what they see maybe as something that can be improved. We love feedback, so we love to hear what you and your what your audience might think about some of the products.
I think a lot of people... there aren't many people who don't know about specifically Resolve, but when they do, and you say, "Oh yeah, there's a free version," people kind of get a bit like, "Oh right, okay." I mean, I think I've converted several people because I must try that because.
It's definitely a softer conversation to have with people whenever you're saying it's free. So it makes a lot more people willing to at least give it a try. But yeah, there are a surprising number of people who maybe they're not in an industry you would have thought would be doing that, but everybody is doing video now, no matter what, they're
Exactly.
where they're starting from. And yeah, a lot of people know about Davinci Resolve. A lot of people are like yourself are evangelizing it, essentially. Saying, "Hey, you should give this a whirl."
We're doing all your jobs for you. It's great, but that's the way. That's the.
We
perfect,
love it.
That's
We
the perfect-
appreciate it.
So just it's available on Linux now as well, right? It's Resolve,
yeah. Davinci Resolve is on Linux, and it's been on Linux for a long time. It was one of the original operating systems.
I think that's where it started, wasn't it? Actually.
Yeah. So the version of Linux that we release on has changed. It used to be on CentOS. Now it's on Rocky Linux, so that the distribution has changed a little bit. But yeah, it's always been a Linux option.
So is that a better for sort of more real-time audio video OS? Because Linux has got a lot of stuff in it that maybe you don't need if you're editing video.
I don't know exactly the reason. I don't know if CentOS was deprecating, or I don't know exactly. That's a little bit above what I would know. Right. But yeah, we just went with a different distribution this time around.
Well, maybe we could just have a little walk around.
Yeah.
You could show us some of your
definitely
hot items.
Okay, so if we wanted to come over here, we're showing our recent Pixis camera. So this is our full frame cinema camera in a box body style box camera format. So you can rig it up in a ton of different ways because there's a lot of different mounting points on it. In terms of the sensor, it's essentially the same as the cinema camera 6K full frame that we.
It's more like
released.
a studio format, though, right?
Yeah. The thing though about this is it doesn't have an SDI input back. So in terms of a live production, like with an ATEM,
you can't do camera control.
Correct. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So you would want to look to again like the Ursa Broadcast, the pocket cinema cameras that we've had on the market, for a while, as well as like the studio cameras. But for maybe you're in the field, like film sort of things, maybe you're doing a music video, that sort of thing. Okay. So that's what this and the Ursa Cine 12K over here are.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to carry that around all day.
I know, right? No, I definitely.
That's why I've got a mobile phone.
Yeah, that's for somebody who has a lot more muscles than myself.
So you've been doing live streaming from here, or at least live setups? Because I walked by
we've got
and
the
there are a
live
few musicians playing.
We have a 3-piece band that's been performing throughout the day at the NAMM show, so that we have something to focus these cameras on and really see what they're capable of.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And then where we were before with the ATEM Minis, we're over here. We've got the ATEM Mini Pro. It looks like someone has just plugged in an Extreme to test something out.
That's an HDMI version, yeah.
Yeah. We've got Davinci Resolve color correction specifically here with our new micro panel that's been out for approximately a year at this point.
Well, the color correction is kind of one of the ways that you really took over the pro market, because people would flip from Final Cut to Resolve for the color correction specifically.
Correct,
right?
yeah, because Davinci Resolve's heritage is in the color correction market. Like, that's what it was. It was a color corrector. And then when Blackmagic acquired Davinci, we eventually built out that color correction suite as a full package, because people can still go in and out if they want to, but we're giving them the option to stay within one program. So that's where you come over here, and we've got another station that's trying to show the editorial side. Even though this is our edit station, you can still go through. Right now it's on the Fairlight page. Yeah. We've got our new Davinci Resolve replay editor that you can use to potentially, if you're doing a live stream, you can use it to do sports replays.
Right.
You can do it, from a show, like you set a POI, point of interest, and you roll back, and it's actually a really incredibly neat workflow.
So it's interesting, because what is it about Australia and video technology? Because we use vMix as well, which I know is another Australian thing. So it's kind of like,
I don't know. As a non-Aussie, I don't know if I can speak to that.
I suppose that's fair enough. It's an unfair question.
Yeah, I love our Aussies. They're great guys.
So the other thing, because we went to speak to the people over, they've got Snapdragon, Qualcomm have got a booth here. Uh-huh. So obviously with the M1 chips, you guys are working really closely with them and absolutely smashing it. I've still got an original M1 and it's absolutely fine, but they're flying. So Is that now, are you starting to take advantage of those embedded technologies on the Qualcomm chips as well?
We are taking advantage of the new Apple silicon with the M1s, M2s, M3s, and now the M4s. But not only that, on the Apple side, like we do support ARM on Windows as well. So yeah, we're always trying to keep up with the new technologies on the computer side so that we can utilize those and make our products work better.
I mean, there's a lot of strings, aren't there? Because you're also big in cloud. I mean, I know the cloud workflow is really happening. And of course, the Blackmagic camera for iOS. We're on Android here. I can't use it yet, so I'm hoping it's going to. Not on this.
We do have an Android version, but it does have limitations on which Android phones it'll work with. So like the Google Pixel line, as well as the Samsung Galaxy line, has some of the more recent models. Originally, it didn't work on my Google Pixel 6 Pro, but now it does. So I'm happy to utilize it on my Android phone.
Well, good for you.
But yeah, the camera app for iOS and Android is actually a really good entry point for a lot of people who maybe they're not ready to make the jump into our cameras, but they love the ecosystem and the workflow. They can download the app on their phone for free and start shooting and uploading those files, to their cloud account or downloading them locally on their computer and working with Davinci Resolve.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I mean, we'll all keep an eye on developments because I mean, everything you do seems to be there's a tool for all possibilities. Right?
Yeah, definitely. Like if you're at the entry level, we've got something for you. If you're at the professional level, we've got something for you. And if you're somewhere in the middle, we've got something for you.
Yeah, I mean, because it's all about workflow, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's workflow is quite specific, so you've got to be flexible enough to kind of accommodate everybody, but not so that it's complete nightmare to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, everybody has their own way of doing things, and the flexibility that we have definitely helps with that. And it's always interesting to see how people are doing things in ways that we never even predicted, but they're using our stuff to do just really interesting and cool things. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. It was really, it's been really cool talking to you.